Welcome to the Journey of Self Growth Podcast, episode 25. I'm ThE, the host of this event, which was created so myself and others can share perspective on the concept of it in hopes that one another's journeys will be relatable, establishes awareness, and inspires listeners to adopt and maintain such behavior. The definition of self growth is a process of developing new skills, attitudes, actions, or reactions that can have a beneficial impact on your life and increases your overall well being. If you desire to be a guest on the show, which could result in self development and also enhancement of a self identity for yourself, you're invited to do so by reaching out to me on Instagram at Kite Raps. Today's featured guest is a friend of mine, entrepreneur, musician, particularly a saxophonist, born and raised from the eastern part of the Bay Area, the San Francisco Bay Area, specifically Oakland, California. His name is Kalen Joshua Freeman, also known as KJ Focus. Hello, KJ. How are you?
What's up with it? What's up with it? How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you taking being intentional about putting forth an initiative to venture into an unknown experience, which hopefully will result in your own self growth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's good.
Yeah, I'm excited about this interview. I think your music is amazing, and
Appreciate you.
I hope other people will uh, have a willingness to listen to some of your music. I know that you released some new songs, new singles recently, and I will address those sooner than later. My first question for you is, what can you tell me about yourself?
Man, shoot. Well, my name's Kalen. I'm from the Bay Area. I play the saxophone. I produce music. I engineer. I write. I do everything that involves music. And if I don't know how to do something, I'm gonna learn how to do it because it's my life. And the more you know how to do something, the better I feel like your life will be. Um, Other than that, yeah, I'm just really a chill dude. Honestly, with the music thing, I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah, but I know I'm having fun doing it. You know what I mean? That's all that matters is having fun with the journey of music and just or anything you want to do and just like that's all just focus on that. And success will follow you regardless if you could just keep that mindset you know success will always follow you if you could remember to have fun doing what you love.
Mm, I can relate to that. And
Yes.
I want to ask you, what are some what are some results of you putting forth that effort to do things that you enjoy? Have you experienced? What are some experiences that you have as a result of you putting forth that effort to do things you enjoy? What are some examples?
Well, I'm a guy that like to take risk and like to try things out, try stuff that's new that you know that nobody has done. So I have many crazy experience, but I always tell people the most greatest experience I haven't topped yet was I think before COVID, like 2019, 2018. I got the opportunity to play with Solange at the Greek Theater, you know, and that was my first time really like being in such a band like that. She had horn section and all that, and bass and piano and this and that and this and that and this and that. And the crazy thing about it, I was already playing her music a lot with her new album that came out at the time. So I already had a feel of the music. But it was so like different because not only that we had to play the horn part, but we had to like dance and move. And I'm like, ah! I was different, but it was cool. It was a good experience. And you know, the first night at the Greek Theater, it was about like 10,000 people there. And like I get on stage, I'm in the background, with the horn section, but still like you still right there. And when I tell you that you could feel 10,000 people, that's a lot of people. And it's just the energy. And the crazy part about it, it's not even this is Salon's show, but I guess people knew me that was there. They was like KJ Falcon, KJ Falcon. They just scream
Wow.
my name. I'm like, whoa! And they in the horn section looking at me, dancers looking back at me. I'm like, I, I don't know, you know. But so, but just that experience, just hearing that and feeling that, it did something to me. It did something to my spirit. It did something to my soul. Music was so different after that. Like I was doing jazz gigs and all this, and I was happy with that. But when I got to that point, and then like I feel it, and I hear my name, like okay, it it's addicting, and it's like, what do I have to do to get here? What do I have to do for this to be my show? You know, how can I do that? You know, and I never lost that feeling, and that's what I'm striving for right now. I don't care how long it's gonna take, because if anybody that feels something like that, 10,000 people there watching, and you part of the show, it's an amazing feeling to have,
Yeah.
and there's nothing else that could top that right now that I could say about my experience. That's just the main one. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's amazing. I'm glad you had the opportunity to perform with a musician who is known and who is also, Beyonce's sister. Like,
yeah, yeah.
that's something that I wouldn't never like expect to happen for for myself. So for you to experience that, I just think that's very like inspirational. How did
Yeah.
you attract that opportunity?
Uh, I went through. I grew up in this place called the East Bay Center of Performing Arts in Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's off of McDonald in Richmond, and it's a performing arts center that that helps kids and everything learn more about the performing arts. So when I went there, I was there for like music sax, but I also had to learn how to like modern dance. I had to learn African drum. I had to learn all these different styles of music. I had to do ballet,
Hmm.
and everything. But it was a cool experience, in all sorts of things, video editing, all everything you could think of. And while I was there, I had a private lesson teacher named Mr. Howard Wiley. I have many private lesson teachers, but this specific one, Howard Wiley, is a known sax player in the Bay Area. Great, 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 great saxophone player. Inspired me so much, and he actually helped me acquire that gig. He put my name out, and they hired me off of that, and I thank him every day for that, because that changed my life. So it's all about the people you know and who you work with.
Mm-hmm.
It's a team thing. It's not just a you thing; it's a team thing that makes things work.
Mm-hmm.
And that was experience. That brought me to that point too. So
And then I can imagine there was like, how would you describe the process of um, t- taking the choosing to be a part of that concert to the point where you're on stage performing? Can you like walk us through that process?
yeah, it was at this facility somewhere. I can't remember right now. I was already kind of nervous, and I walked in. It was a bunch of people. It's actually somebody I knew called. His name was Renzo Merritt. He's actually another sax player in the Bay Area that actually studied under Howard too. So Howard out there making dope sax players out there. Well, anyway, he was there, and there was a lot of other horn players. I didn't really know what to expect. We didn't even see Solange. She didn't even like rehearse with us. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Because she knows her music. She out there doing other. I only saw her the day of the shows and everything. But so it was two people that were coaching her through, guitar player and another singer. And it was luckily I kind of knew the songs already, but we had to learn the horn parts and everything. And it was just the dancing that was like, oh, throwing me off. It was cool, and there was nothing wrong with it. But it's just like ah, but that's where the East Bay Center came in, because I never took a dance class before, and I took dance classes there, so I kind of knew what to expect. So in a way that prepared me for that.
Hmm.
Still was like, oh my goodness, we really doing this. but but it was fun. It was fun. I wasn't alone. At least I knew somebody there. You know, and it was a 3-day rehearsal process before we did the 3-day show, and it was probably like 4 hours, 5 hours at the most at night. So we had a lot of time to get everything down, and it was pretty smooth. It wasn't the hardest thing I ever did, but it was a very different experience that molded me to the person I am today.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, so it's not. It's I don't have opportunities to have conversations with people who perform live as much as I hope to at some
Mhm.
point. But I am curious to know from the perspective of someone who's a saxophonist. You had mentioned you said that gig wasn't the hardest thing you've done. So that seems to be alluding to that you've had another gig that was more challenging. And if so, like, how would you? What can you tell me about that experience? The hardest gig you've
The
had.
hardest gig I had.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, hmm. The hardest gig I had. Well, it's so many different variations of the hardest gig I have. But I think the hardest ones is the ones when I had to play by myself for a long period of time. Um, it was one where Goodwill hired me to play at their in their store. Like I was playing inside the store, which was crazy. I never did. I never. Whoa, what? Okay. And they would allow me to play for tips too. I was like, okay, well, shoot. While people walk in and everything, it was during the Jazz Fest, and it was a 2-day event, and it was all good and fine. But it's just the fact that I had to play for like 3 or 4 hours. One of them, I couldn't remember which one, how much, but it was like 3 hours by myself, nonstop. With a band, people get solos. You can take a break. You can, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
When you doing solo with your speaker, it ain't no breaks. I mean, you can take a little small 2 minute, 3 minute break here and there, but you right there. It ain't nobody waiting on, no nothing to wait on but yourself. So when I do gigs like that, I had to prepare myself mentally and physically before the day, even before the next day, whatever, before the next day that I'm about to be playing about 40 songs,
Wow.
50 songs
Wow.
back to back, and those the Solange gig and all these other gigs where I'm get to play with different people, the DJ, and I'm not really the main thing. Those are the easy gigs. Those are the
Mm-hmm.
gigs I thrive for. I really want if they paid enough. But the solo gigs is where the money's at for me, and but it's also the hardest part of my career when I have to do 3 hours, 4 hours, and um, it's just grueling work. If I didn't play basketball like I do, and if I didn't go out and busk on my own just so I can make myself practice more and be prepared for stuff like that, I don't think I would be able to do it at this point. But since I do that, it's I'm getting through it more. And them 3 hour gigs, boy, the money be cool. The money, it could be more, at this point, because 3 hours is a long. I mean, I'm getting older, I'm thinking about saving. I'm thinking about my kids. Thinking about life insurance. I'm thinking about a lot of things. So I'm thinking about more capital for my business. But that's just for anybody who getting older. You think like that. But those solo gigs, boy, those 3 hour solo gigs, boy, they be grueling work, man. Ooh, if they paid me enough to have a band, then it would be more fun. But you know, I don't think it's worth it to hire a band for like 300 and it's like 5 people and we playing for 3 hours. That's not enough. It gotta be a little bit more. So I take on those little small little gigs until I get to that point where I can hire people and it would be worth their effort. Because being a musician, it may seem easy, but it's really not.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Wow.
not.
Yeah, that's insightful. And you said that the 3 hour the 3 hour gig is grueling. Are you referring to the the physical aspect of it, or is it
Yeah.
a combination of mental and physical?
The mental is cool. I wish my physical could keep up with my mental, cause boy, whew. But it's cool. It's just when you hit to that 2 hour mark, it gets a little like the body starts to break down, like the diaphragm. My diaphragm starts to break down. Constantly, you know, blowing the instrument, and I'm working on that more for myself because I should be able to hit 3 hours pretty good. I shouldn't. I think it's something with myself. I think I should be able to hit 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours easily
Mm-hmm.
at my age. I believe so. I feel like maybe if I just get a little stronger, maybe do more push-ups. 200 push-ups a day
Mm-hmm.
would keep me would get me at that 6 hour point. You just got to do it. And I will do it because if I could play 6 hours a day without being tired, that opens up a lot of doors.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? 'Cause a lot of artists forget about the physical side. About physical side, like you could say, yeah, I'm gonna do 35 concerts in a month or whatever. But boy, when you hit that 15, when you hit that 15 concert, when you start to feel it, you gotta be in shape. You know, to be an artist,
Yeah,
you have to.
that was gonna be my follow up question. Is like performing more than 3 hours something that's not like unusual for the average artist who's on tour?
Yeah, yeah. It's really 2 hours for artists when they do concerts. I see the max 2 hours. I haven't really seen an artist do 3 hours yet,
Okay.
unless I'm mistaken. You
Mm-hmm.
know, or more. Maybe. Well, actually, you're right because if you go to it'd be an hour and a half concert and stuff, and yeah, so 3 hours is actually standard,
Okay.
but it's hard.
Yeah,
You know.
especially if you're doing it like on a nightly basis where you're going from one town to the next.
Yeah.
It does seem like
Yes.
being physically fit would help you like
You have
perform.
to be your best. You have to. Yeah. There's no way around it. It's not.
And then going back to what you had said earlier in terms of the East Bay Center of Performing Arts, this is a place that I'm familiar with.
Okay.
When I was in elementary school, I went to King Elementary School in Richmond, California.
Hmm.
Lived for a time in that city as a kid, and my elementary school had a partnership with Richmond Performing Arts Center, and they would come. Some of the instructors would come to the school and provide classes there, and then we also would have an opportunity to go to the center and learn how to enhance our performance skills as well. And
That's
some,
cool. That's cool.
yeah, in terms of dancing, one of the classes that I voluntarily chose to do was tap dancing. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and I think the reason why I did that was because when I was growing up, I used to watch Sesame Street, and one of the people that they would have on as a featured guest was Gregory Hines. He's a
Uh-huh.
tap dancer, and so African American tap dancer. And so when I saw him, it was very cool to just see him doing the things that he was doing with his feet and hearing
Yeah.
the tapping and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So when I saw the brochure and they had tap dancing available at at the center, I was like, oh, I've never done it before, but I'm willing to just try something new, and
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed it. And so I
That's
took
cool.
I took tap dancing. Also took they had a steel drum class there, so I learned how to do
Yeah, steel
steel.
drums. Yeah. Yeah.
That was fun. And then I think my favorite class that I took there was it was acting, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I did a musical at the center. It was called The West Side Story. I played.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They do that. They have done that a couple of times already. Yeah, that's dope. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. What? I didn't even know the center was like that broad, broad. Now, wow. See, look at that. Go to the East Bay Center.
hmm Yeah.
Take your children there. Go there.
I agree. And it's
They
like
offer a lot.
it's affordable if not free for some people. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's
I
called
mean,
the diploma program. You know.
oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how I got in. I kind of got in late, but they still let me be in the diploma program. I was able to take free classes and stuff.
That's
So,
amazing. How many years did you commit to going to the performing arts school?
cause see, I started playing music at 15,
Mm-hmm.
my at Richmond High, and then I went to the center. I think the end of my junior year.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, I was already too old to be there for the diploma program because it's like almost a 4 year process, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And but they still allowed me to do it for that one year. And then once I graduated, they still incorporated me in all the classes. They still paid for my classes and my lesson for a very long time. I think about like 5 years, 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, they really, they really have faith in me, and I appreciate them for that. But yeah, I was able to go to Berkeley College of Music for 2 summers
Mm-hmm.
on full scholarship because they have a relationship with them called with City Music,
Mm-hmm.
and I was able to get a full scholarship to go out there to Boston for 2 years. Well, 2 years for 6 weeks.
Mm.
So that was an amazing experience. So yeah, East Bay Center Performing Arts, man, they create opportunities. Telling you.
Yeah. And it seems like when it comes from from an individualistic perspective, you going to that school was a choice. You didn't have to do it, but you chose to do
Mm.
it.
Yeah.
And I'm a believer of this idea. I like to use this phrase, reflections of intent. So what that means is when I put forth an initiative or an act, if I act based on the intent that I have, it seems like the universe will reflect that intent. So if I intend to do better, it seems like the universe will send a reflection of that action in the form of an opportunity, which can help me to continue on that pattern of intentionality. So,
Yes. Yes.
so you chose to pull forth an initiative based on the intent to seemingly want to enhance your skill set as a musician, and also learn some dancing here and there.
Yeah.
And unexpectedly and surprisingly, it seemed like you encountered a reflection of that intention by having the opportunity to go on stage and perform with Solange, which I thought was pretty interesting and yeah, very intriguing. So,
Yes. Yes, it is. It is very intriguing. It's a great word.
and I only I mentioned this because you know we have our own perspectives, and what you see through your eyes, I can't see, but
Hmm.
where we can come to a place of consensus or harmonize is where we can relate to one another's expressions through talking and stuff, communicating. And so
Hmm.
when you were sharing your perspective, I related to it, and I wanted to share my perspective in hopes that it can inspire you to continue on that journey of growing and bettering your skill set as a musician, because that seems like that's something that you enjoy doing.
Yes. I don't know what I'd do without it. Man.
How did you become attracted to the saxophone in particular compared to other instruments?
Mm. Um. I mean, when I first went into the band class, because before that I wasn't even in the band class. They put me in two math class.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of messed up my schedule, and I had an option to pick what class I wanted to be, and I said I'll be in band. Why not? And the first day I was on the trumpet. You know, it was cool. But then I was like, "Yo, what's that? What's that curvy thing that you said the sax?" Yeah, like I'm like, "Yeah, that one." You like, "You want to play that?" I'm like, "Yeah, let me play that." And then ever since then, like I was like, "Oh yeah, this the one.
mm.
This thing sound nice."
Mm-hmm.
But it's crazy because before that, I remember like when I was a kid, like little kid, like 7 or 5, I was in my grandpa's like car, right? And it's kind of like I'll never forget. It was in the driveway, and this sax player came on the radio, and he was like, he was like doing the the
Mm-hmm.
impressions with the sax, and I was doing it with him.
Mm-hmm.
But I always think about that, like, that's so crazy that I had that experience, and now I'm really playing this instrument. That's kind of weird. Almost make me feel like this stuff ain't real. Like it's a real TV show out here. But nah. It's just correlations and stuff that ties in together. It reminds you that God is real. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, it was destined. I guess that's what you would call it, destiny, huh?
Yeah. And it's insightful to hear that initially you said the trumpet, right? That was the first
Hmm.
instrument you tried,
Hmm.
and that's cool. But it gives at least for me it demonstrates that you did have a sense of discernment and how
Hmm.
that particular instrument in terms of the saxophone resonated with you more than the trumpet, which is also pretty interesting. And
Hmm.
you know, yeah, that's pretty interesting. I don't know how to elaborate on that more,
No, you
but
said it. You said the discernment part. I didn't even think about that. Like the discernment to like say, no, I want to play this instrument. That's real. Oh snap!
yeah.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Wow. Pretty cool.
And so to get to go follow up with some new questions for you, we got pretty deep into
Yeah, we did.
into that, which is good. My next question for you is, what would be your perspective on the concept of self growth?
Self growth.
Yeah.
I mean, we always growing, regardless. You always grow whether you want to or not, and it's gonna be uncomfortable and it's gonna be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's the speed that what you want to grow at. You know what I mean? Like I think we have control of the speed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people are comfortable where they at, so they don't really want to grow too much to stay in their comfortability or whatever. But and there's some people that want to grow,
Mm-hmm.
and so they take the action to grow more. They focus on their self growth, and there's other people that wants to grow but they can't grow. They they stagnant, and because there's a blockage. Um, with self growth, it's more of a it's more of a what do you want, basically. Like, what do you really want? You don't want to self grow into something that you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you can't do that because we have the ability to be anything we want to be. It's just that you got to know what you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
That makes you the most happy. That speaks to your soul because everybody got their placements in the stars. Everybody got their destiny. Everybody got what they signed up to be to do
Mm-hmm.
here. My belief, my opinion. And with self growth, you have to make sure you self growing where you need to grow at. You know what I mean? You don't just be growing wild things when you growing dandelions and sunflower seeds, but you need to be growing roses in your garden.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So know what you want to grow at and grow at first. First off, then start growing.
Mm.
Cause I made that mistake. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Not focusing on just focus on too many things, being a jack of all trades, this, that. When I should have been focused on this, and if I would have just focused on all my efforts on this, all the other stuff that I wanted to would have grown right with it. Cause it was the
Yes.
foundation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's just comes with age though. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I believe.
Yeah.
Some people get it, some people don't after. But with age, you will start to see where, okay, this is what I need to focus my growth on.
Mm-hmm.
And everything else will fall in line.
Okay.
So that's my opinion.
I can relate to that. I appreciate you sharing your perspective on that, which
Mhm.
segues into the next question. How are you currently growing?
Hmm. Well, I think I hit all them growth thing I was talking about, like stagnant and growing in the wrong place. I kind of went through all that. You know what I mean? Um, the stagnant part was the most troubling part, but the most rewarding once I got past it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because once you figure out where you need to grow at, then you're going to you may see a blockage of like what's keeping you from growing in the first place. And it may sometimes maybe just like a little cardboard box or it may be a big rock, stone mountain. It's different for everyone. And I felt like mine was more like a big stone, you know what I mean? Like a
Mm-hmm.
big, you know. And it was good that I knew that because, I was just gonna have to start pushing. I may not be able to push it today, but I'm just gonna work out and I may push it an inch tomorrow and I may push it 5 inches the next day. And and 10 feet and 20 feet until I push it out my way,
Mm.
and then I can start growing where I want to grow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I hit that like this year actually.
Wow.
So it's cool now. It's like, oh wow, the sun is shining. It's like, now what can I do? What to do now? I got all this. I focus on this one thing. That was so hard. Now it's nothing that big in my way. It's like now it's like endless. What to do now? What to grow? What to focus on now? You
Mm-hmm.
know and I feel like that's happiness when you always have something to do, always have something to thrive for. I feel like that's like happiness to me because you're never bored. It's always something to be good at.
Yes. Yes.
you know.
I agree
Yeah.
with you. I there was something I wanted to say in regards to what you had said earlier too. It was you had said, yeah. Well, firstly, I'm glad you were able to stay resilient and go beyond whatever was hindering you in the past to get to a point where you sense you are um, at a place of like peace, because
Yeah. Yeah.
that feeling is like invaluable. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm glad you got there. Um, you had said prior to where you are currently, you were had multiple focuses, which you sense was in retrospect you shouldn't have been doing. So my question regarding those dibbling and dabbling into multiple experiences where you should have been focusing on one which you're passionate about. The question is, what was the intentionality for focusing on all of these multiple experiences where you could have been focusing on one?
It was not knowing what I wanted. You know what I mean? Like I thought I wanted this, I thought I wanted that. So I focused on that and it led me towards somewhere I didn't really want more. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, that's not what I wanted. The intention was just to get to where I want to be. And I felt like this part was something I need to focus on to get there, and it really wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is
like it's kind of you ask yourself, well, how would I ever know? Yeah, I
mm-hmm.
mean, you wouldn't. You just have to just do it. You just
Mm-hmm.
got to be aware of like it is a science behind all this too. It's real a science and math to all this, but you have to see the what's the word I'm looking for? The synchronicity.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's certain synchronicities to know that something is working.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's not gonna be big and grand. No, you don't want that. You don't want nothing too big or grand right up front. You want things to be gradually and build a strong foundation. I keep using foundation. You want to build a strong foundation into it. So you gotta take the little wins out of it. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
and focus on the wins of how you won and build up on that. You know what I'm saying? And that's you know what I mean. Like that's will build something that will last. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Last a very long time. So when I started doing the thing that I should have been doing, I should have been like been focusing on, as in whatever it was, like trying to make money this way, doing this, doing that, focus on this type of music, trying to do this, trying to do that. It wasn't it wasn't working. And you can't force things to work when it's not working. If it's not gonna fit, it's not gonna fit. You
Mm-hmm.
gotta you gotta try something else. You gotta learn to let go and move on. And woo, if you can learn to let go and move on, you can master that discipline to be able to let go and move on to get to something that you know that's gonna work. And once you know how to see synchronicities in your work,
Mm-hmm.
it's endless. Life it's endless. You can do anything you want to do. You can say anything you want to be and be it. You know what I mean? It don't matter what it is. You want to be a millionaire, be a millionaire. If you want to own farm, own farm. If you want to do this, you want to do that, do it. Once you figure out your own synchronicity of things working for you in your favor, once you can see it and be aware of it consciously,
Mm-hmm.
oh, oh, it's
Yes.
it's nowhere but up for anybody that could figure that out. But it's different for everyone. It's
Yeah.
nobody can tell you how to do it. You gotta learn it on your own.
Yeah.
So
I
Yeah.
agree. And for listeners who are curious to know, who may relate to you in terms of those experiences that weren't working, would you mind like sharing one particular experience that you chose to focus on that um, ultimately you helped you to realize that's not what you wanted to do?
It's a lot. I'm trying to figure out the right one.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to figure out the very right one. Let's say I'm gonna use the incident when I play at bar.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was playing on this saxophone that I had, right? And I really wanted to play on it. Like I really wanted to make it work. And I would go to bar and I would play it and play it and play it and not really make money, but try to force it to make it work. And I wasn't really making that, and I'll be frustrated and I'll be mad because I'm like, this is what I want. I want to do this. I want to use this. I want to do it. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna force it. I'm gonna do it. It's not work. I'm gonna keep going. And people are like, yeah, just keep doing it. Yeah, it's gonna work eventually. No, 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 no. No, just stop. Just stop, breathe, and reevaluate.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it didn't work the first time, and if it didn't work the second time, and if it didn't work definitely the third time, you should really just think like, okay, it's not going to work the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. It's not going to, no matter how much you want it. And it goes back to God. Like you tell God what you want and everything, and God's like, I see what you want, but I know what you want. You got to take what I give you because that's really what you want, and people can't get past that. You know what I mean? People
Mm-hmm.
can't get past that. I wanted that sax to work because it was more convenient. It was nice. I liked how it looked, but I had to go back to the sax that was actually in more better shape, was more in tune, more put together, cost more too. You know what I mean? Just because it didn't look shiny and golden like this one does, and it looks brown and older, well, all that glitters is not gold.
Mm.
So when I went back to it after months,
Wow.
and I started playing, boom, boom, here, there, boom, bow, poo, pow, whatever. St- Things started working out
Mm.
instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to remember that. You got to remember because if it's meant to work out, it will work out. If it's not meant to work out, it won't work out because I mean it's something better.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to get past your own ego
Mm. Yeah.
and just listen to what the universe is trying to tell you,
Yeah.
what your environment is trying to tell you. And that's why I say I go back to saying just stop, breathe, and then reevaluate
Mm-hmm.
and listen. You got to listen.
I,
Listen is the most important part. Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that, and I think there's a lot of symbolism behind the two saxophones that hopefully listeners can relate to on a conscious level. And I think for
Hmm.
me, what I would add based on your experience, you had said like, um, you know, if it was meant to work out, it would have worked out because there would have been more opportunities manifesting for you to continue down that course or that path. And I think when it comes to putting forth an initiative, one can do so. And like you had said earlier, awareness matters too when it comes to growth because as we are conducting ourselves in the present moment, it seems indicators will come our way as well that will help to guide us on along our growth. Or for some people, if you're not growing, you're probably doing things that's not going to help you to grow. But still, the indicators aren't. The indicators can help us to enhance our awareness of how we're moving throughout the day.
Hmm.
I like to use an analogy where, let's say, I remember when I forget what year it was, but I think it was like 2022 when we had those forest fires that was burning up in
Oh,
Humboldt.
that's 2022.
Might have been
Yeah. Dang.
2023. Yeah, it was like a couple years ago, I think. But yeah, it was all a blur to me. I wanted out of my mind if possible. You know what I mean? Because
For
I didn't know if
real.
I I didn't know if I was gonna survive that one. But but as you seen, as I saw the sky red and the heavy smoke in the air,
Bruh.
and I had to go to work, or just be out and about at certain points
Yeah.
of the time. The smoke and the fire in itself for me was an indicator that yeah, this is happening, and I have a
Yeah.
choice. I could stay outside and be up in this smoke and probably, ends up with some sort of like health issue, or I could be using my awareness and my intuition and go in the house. It's a choice at the end of the day, but those indicators does like whether it's the universe or God, it seems like indicators do are provided for us to so that we can make a choice, a calculated choice, which is ultimately our decision. How would you relate to that statement?
No, I'm. You better listen. That's what I be trying to tell people. You better listen to your inner thought, your Holy Spirit, God, whatever you want to call it. It's there, and it's there to help you. And if you don't listen to that first voice in your head, that little tiny voice, if you don't listen to that, I swear you're gonna regret it. Not if not now, but later.
mm,
You know what I mean? 'Cause I believe in the butterfly effect.
mm,
Like one little decision could change this whole course of action. It
mm,
could change everything.
mm,
And that little voice is that butterfly. I'm trying to
mm,
tell you.
mm-hmm.
It's been too many times where I experienced that. And yeah, that one decision, like, I'll say this once. I don't know if I ever gonna say this on some public like this again, but it was like one decision where I was like 8, and my grandmother was in this convalescent home,
Mm-hmm.
and she was in this hospital bed, and this railing system where if you lean on it or if you put too much pressure on it, it releases the latch, and you got to make sure you and pull it down and pull it up so it would fall by itself.
Yeah.
Well, one day I knew that, being 7 or 8, I knew that in my back of my mind, but I leaned over because I wanted to give my grandmother a kiss on the forehead before I left.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew back in my mind, I was like, no. It ain't gonna fall down. Hey, what's the chances, right? 3 hours later, they called my grandpa, right? I'll never forget. I was sitting in the living room on the floor, and it was like, she fell out the bed,
Oh.
and like she like kind of like busted her head open on the floor.
Oh.
And I remember him yelling, like, how you nurses gonna let that happen? And
Mm-hmm.
back in my mind, I didn't tell nobody,
Mm-hmm.
but I forgot to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yeah, the nurse should have been checking on her. I mean, it should have been more, but still, you know what I'm saying? But still, like, I'm the one that didn't do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 days later, like, she died.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember my mom crying and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then, about 3 weeks later into that month, or to the next month, 3 weeks later, like, she got lung cancer, and then she passed on too.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was like almost in a month span. I lost my grandma and mom, and I was like, that one decision really. I'm not trying to. I'm older. That's childish to like blame yourself for all of it, but you can't help think about it.
Yeah.
What if I, did what I was supposed to do? Would things be different as far as that point? But wherever the case may be, I know now that that little voice in your head is your friend.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not God Himself,
Mm-hmm.
like, you gotta listen to it because it's
Yeah.
for your own good. Like, you know what's best for yourself, and you gotta stay on that. You can't never lose it, no matter how old, no matter what you went through, how old you get, or whatever the case may be. You gotta remember that you know what's best. That you know the right thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
and if you do the right thing, right things will happen. And if you don't do the wrong thing, no matter how small you think it is, it may be small now, but that thing would be like a little snowball going down the hill. It would just keep growing and growing and growing, and it'll become this big old humongous thing that wreak havoc and stuff. So you gotta listen to God. When God is talking, you gotta listen. You have to and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And from the outside looking in, I do want to share, some words of encouragement in terms of like that situation with your grandma, because in the present moment, you do have a sense of awareness of what you could have done, which is a choice, because to have a sense of remorse and to realize what you could have done, versus being in denial, like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe, regardless if I put it up or not, it wouldn't have made a difference. That's a form of denial, which you could go that path. But
Yeah.
I think, at least for me, like, if I was like in that situation and I fell out of the bed, and to hear you say, I could have done it differently, like, that would give me a sense of just like peace, because now I see that you're trying to do better in your life,
Mm.
so I just wanted to share those words of
I appreciate
encouragement,
that. I appreciate you. Yeah, it's about just learning to take accountability. When you're the only one that know you taking accountability,
hmm
I think that accountability will always free you.
hmm
Yeah,
yeah,
it will. It will. You know.
yeah,
So.
I agree. And I want to progress on, to discover more about your business ventures, which I read in your bio, that you have started a record label, and you also mentioned that you have worked with one of the penitentiaries here in the Bay Area, the San Quentin
Hmm.
prison.
Yeah.
So what can you tell me about your businesses?
Well, I work with this artist, my brother Rob Woods, and he was recently, he wasn't recently, but he used to be incarcerated at one point, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But he's also an artist now here, and he do a lot of amazing things. Got his own thing, Worthy Hour, and his own brand and everything. He lives in L.A., and I met up with him around before COVID happened, I think. And ever since then, we've been rocking it. We had a band curb service with drum boy Aaron and everything. But he also had this connection where with San Quentin prison, where he had us all come in and perform in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I got into that with him, because I'm with him, and I was able to go in there, and we actually, and it wasn't even like one time. I think this is like the fifth time now that we have done this.
Mm-hmm.
Going there and providing them with music and a show and everything. And that's just such a great thing, just morally, not even off no business stuff. Like, I treated that like somebody in there probably needed to hear
Mm-hmm.
that probably had given up, you
Mm-hmm.
know and it's more than music when it comes to something like that. You know what I mean? It's an act of service. It's a healing process. It's a lot when it comes to playing for a community like that. And I take that very. I would love to keep doing it for them, you know, to encourage anybody in there that it's not the end. It's always more, you know, when you're in there. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? The world hasn't stopped. The world. Your world hasn't stopped.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that right there is one of the most. No matter what I do in life, that right there will always be the most important thing in my life that I have done.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So yeah.
What were some of the um, expressions, if any, that were provided to you from some of the inmates as a result of your
They
performance?
treated us like superstars, man. What? I thought I was Kobe Bryant in China, bro. Like what? Like what? People they was coming up, they was so amazed. They had like their own newspaper program there. They were gonna put us in the newspaper. We were doing interviews with them and everything, and it
Mm.
was just one after another, just coming up and saying, "Oh my God, thank you so much. You so good at all this and that, this and that, this and that." And you can tell they enjoyed it, cause when you first go in there, you be like a little scary, like, man, I hope everything goes right. I hope they like it. I wouldn't want to make nobody mad in there, you know. But at the end of the day, it was all love. It's not what you think, you know what I mean? Humans are humans, no matter what society probably have portrayed them to be. People are people, you know what I mean? No matter what type of mistakes they make in life, you know, we are human, and love is always love, no matter where it's at. So, and I experienced that in there, you know what I mean? And it was great. It was wonderful. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed that experience. It seems to me the the act of unconditional appreciation, unconditional love is like the the optimum form of love, because if you have a willingness to give unconditionally without
Mhm.
an expectation of what you'll get back in return, like that helps. I feel like that's where you become one with, like, genuinely become one with the universe. Because when I think about nature, for
Yes.
example, like air, like imagine if, like, God of the universe put conditions on us, like breathing air, like, oh, I'll let you breathe some air if you do X, Y, and Z. I've yet to hear anyone, you know, that is a spiritual being tell me anything like that. The air is provided to anyone. It seems like the air is provided to any and every one.
That's so funny.
Am I right though?
No, you're right. You're right, man. Funny how you put it, though. Oh, snap. That's so funny. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Error free. As much as it can be.
And so,
you know.
like, I volunteer. I've done some volunteering myself, and I think I those experiences where I give unconditionally because of me sensing uh, a need, and I can offer a service based on my potentials and capabilities. It helps to build a stronger bond with the people who are asking for my help, because
Mhm.
there is no conditions that are like in between us that's separating us. This is how we have naturally. This is how we can naturally get to know each other and establish like a true foundation of harmony with one another,
Mhm.
at least from my
Yes.
perspective. And then as a byproduct, possibly, of me giving unconditionally, I might get a pleasant surprise myself that was provided unconditionally as well,
You never
which
know.
which is a act of reciprocation. Even though I don't expect it, I
Yes.
do welcome it. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
So yeah. So like I feel like if everyone can get to a place of like doing and acting unconditionally, I think the world could be a better place, you know. So,
Yes. It definitely can be and it will be.
hmm
You gotta give it some time.
and like, so like in terms of being a performer, like I make music too, but I do it unconditionally. Like I make music without the expectation of people validating my music and saying like they enjoy it or whatever. I do it because I enjoy it. But if someone
Yes.
tells me they enjoy the music, I feel like
Man.
that's a byproduct of me doing things that I enjoy, you know, on my own. And,
Yeah.
and it inspires me
Yes.
to continue on that course, because there's a external appreciation for what I'm doing, but it's not the requisite for me. I mean, is you feel the same way?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I was doing music and I love playing it. You know what I mean? I love performing in front of people, and I love like making somebody's day.
Hmm.
I like being like, I like helping people as best as I could. And the day I figured out like people loved my music, love when I play, and it makes them feel a certain type of way. Shoot, that's more than enough for me to keep doing it, paid or not. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's more than enough for me to do because at the end of the day, I'm doing something that God wants me to do, and I'm doing
Hmm.
something that benefits the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So what's more better than that at the end of the day? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So yeah, I feel you for sure.
I think ultimately, like whether you're a musician, a nurse, an entrepreneur, if you're doing what you're passionate about, I feel like the monetary gain is a byproduct of doing what you enjoy. I feel
Hmm.
like the focus shouldn't be the money. The money is something that we can't control. Like imagine, I mean, it would be nice for me to like start a business and expect people to pay me, and that happens based on that expectation. But I feel like that's not realistic. I feel like if I keep my head, like quote unquote, keep my head down and focus on doing what I enjoy in terms of like why I started the business in the first place, and then unexpectedly people start paying me for the service, like the payments are the byproduct. It's sort of like similar to like you say you play basketball.
Hmm.
Like imagine going to the gym today, working on your 3 point shot with the expectation that somebody's gonna only with the expectation that someone is gonna sign you to play in the NBA like a year from now. You know what I mean? I'm only gonna go to the gym if I get a $30 million contract a year from now, which I expect to happen. And if that, I mean, it don't
Yeah.
seem realistic. Like if I go to the gym, I'm gonna work on my 3 point shot because I want to better my skill set.
Yes,
And
exactly.
and
Yes.
if people appreciate me bettering my skill set and they offer me a contract, I feel like that complements my what I'm passionate about and what my focus primarily was for. So
Yes.
I feel like that should be the focus, like bettering yourself, growing yourself.
Yeah, you gotta want to do it without needing to do it. If that makes sense. No, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Uh
Like
huh.
if you just want to do it and you have no expectations from it, then that's the best. That's the best thing. You know, you open to anything that can happen. Sure, you say 30 million. Sure, without you expecting anything, you could have got. You may get 100 million
Mhm.
because you didn't have that expectation. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You was open to anything. You just wanted to get better. That's a great mindset to have.
Mhm.
Very great mindset.
And you, so in addition to you volunteering at San Quentin Prison, you
Hmm.
also mentioned in your bio that you have a is it a record label called Team Focus?
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's Focus Team actually.
Focus Team.
Yeah, I still haven't got it like LLC yet. Cause I
Mm-hmm.
have one, but I have to change it. So I want to before I get an LLC again. Let me make sure I'm gonna keep. I'm have something that I'm actually gonna keep and not keep changing. You know what I mean? Cause that's
Mm-hmm.
all that costs money.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's most likely it is Focus Team. It's my label. It's my brand. That's what it's gonna be all about. Cause it's a team thing,
Mm-hmm.
and you know I can't do it by myself. And if I want to get to where I want to get to one day, I'm gonna need a team. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna need a focus team.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be dope too, cause I can already see it.
I mean, the name is pretty like, be honest with you, it's pretty prolific in itself. I
Yeah,
mean, I
yeah,
mean, team is focused,
yeah.
focused team.
Focus team.
You know what I
Oh
mean?
man, like some Power Ranger stuff. Oh man, oh man, yeah. So focus team. That's what it's gonna be.
Hmm.
Man, I got a lot of great things in my mind for that. But it takes some steps. You gotta take it step by step.
Yeah,
Can't skip no steps. Can't jump no steps. Just take step by step. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
And I feel like you took the first step. I mean, which some people, if they're in a comfort zone or who are just like thinking about having a record label versus actually going out there and starting the process,
Yeah.
like you're beyond that phase. And so, I mean,
Mhm.
that's something to be commended on. So yeah, I
Mhm. Mhm.
appreciate your initiative. You know,
Yes,
it's gonna be
sir.
inspiring to other people.
Yes.
And now, so like for people who are new to who you are, um, your alias is KJ Focus. Well, why did you choose this alias?
At one point it was called KJ Music, and
Mm-hmm.
it, cause my name Kalen Joshua, and somebody told me I should go by Kalen Joshua. Oh, okay. So I just called it KJ Music. But the thing about it is, before people knew me as KJ Music, it was kind of like in the background, like I called myself Focus because it was this little documentary I had to do to sign up for Berkeley College of Music summer program. I had to
Mm-hmm.
create, and the East Bay Center helped me with that. But when I was watching it after they did it, I was playing in the jazz room, and they got the back of me, and it was just a big word across my back, Focus. It's just big word. I'm like, if that's not a big sign of me, like, I don't know what it is. I said, I'm gonna call myself Focus.
Yeah.
Why not? It sounded cool to me at the time when I was like 17, whatever. And so I was really calling myself Focus. Yeah, my name Focus, whatever, whatever. But a little after that, I called it KJ Music. And then one of my friends named Jarrell, who I happened to see today, actually, for the first time in like 4 years before I
Wow.
came here, I seen Jarrell.
Mm-hmm.
He's the person that gave me KJ Focus. Cause he was like,
Wow.
you know what? Your name should be KJ Focus.
Mm.
I'm like, hey, that sounds kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna go with that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I said, go with it. KJ
Wow.
Focus.
Wow. And it was like a series of events that
Yeah,
like you went through that inspired that name, which seems
yeah.
to be like an indicator that you like are on the right path. Especially as you mentioned, the person that like suggested the name to you, you saw him today, like it has been 4 years
three,
ago,
3 or 4 years, bro.
and here we are talking about your name on the podcast. That's pretty amazing.
It is. It is. It is. It is. Life is amazing, man. Mm, mm.
And so now, in terms of your music, I do notice that you did release some singles. So for those who are unaware of these singles, what can you tell me about your latest music?
Oh man, I've been releasing a lot of music. Shoot. Um. So I had an album up once, but I took it down because I wanted to do a little bit more mixing. But I've been releasing now. I'm starting to release a lot of singles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over here trying to look at cause I'm kind of like lost because I've been listening to a lot of my music all day, so I'm kind of like not up to date with everything. But I know I released a song 2 days ago called Another Hit.
Yes.
Yeah, that's actually a 3 year song. A
Oh.
three. Yeah, I released that a long time ago, but I'm releasing it again
Mm-hmm.
because I got a lot of new music coming out, and I want to make sure I get the music I want out that was supposed to been out already out first.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cool because now I get to create my art cover and create different, you know what I mean? Even change the name if I want to. So yeah, this one called Another Hit. It's like a what's the dude's name? What's the Jack Harlow
Jack
kind of
Harlow.
style beat. You know
Okay.
what I mean? With a saxophone flavor. So I thought that's kind of pretty cool. Called Another Hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I got some other song, Nature, This How We Win. It's just different, diverse songs out there. I'm not really hitting a certain type of genre right now. I'm just like showcasing all my genres
Mm-hmm.
so I can catch, all audience, give everybody some piece of this, some piece of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man, these singles coming out. I got a lot more music coming out. I'm trying to come out with a 5 song EP in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
I just approved of all the songs today. I was listening to it, so it's there now. I'm just gonna put it together. So I'm excited about that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
very excited. I make all the music. If I don't get it off of BeatStar, but I haven't gotten any songs off of BeatStar in a long time. So most of the music I have now is made by me and
Wow.
engineered and mixed and mastered by me and everything. Artwork by me. Until one day I get a real solid team that can do this all for me. But how I like to work, I like doing it myself because I work at a certain pace and
Mm-hmm.
speed. And once I have an idea, I like to get the idea done before it gets, gets lost in all the other ideas and everything. So yeah, it's been going really good lately. You know what I mean? It's been going good. I also had a new single with my boy Seiji. People that know
Mm-hmm.
Seiji. We
Hmm.
just I know him for a very long time, and he asked me to be on one of his songs called Last Summer. And man, when I got on that brought me up a lot. You know what I mean? He helped me out a whole lot with that, man. I think it's viral. Everybody
Mm.
knows that song. And I thank
Wow.
him and God every day for that song, bro. Cause that's what all I wanted. And he helped me with that. And man, I love Seiji so much, man. Seiji is just an amazing artist, man. He just recently worked with LaRussell on one of his songs
Hmm.
and everything. He's just going up. Look out for Seiji. Don't be surprised when you see Seiji everywhere, bro. Seiji is the next one to come up, like the next big one to come up. So, I can already see him with SZA, Kendrick, J. Cole. I can already see that happening for him. So I'm just glad to be a part of his journey. You know,
What's the name? What's the name of the song that you collaborated with him on
last summer.
last summer? Okay.
Yeah,
Could
yeah.
could could people access this song if they went into your bio on Instagram or
Yes,
your? Okay.
yes, yes, yes,
Okay, for
yes.
sure.
Most definitely, most definitely.
Yeah, I definitely want to listen to that. I did listen to some of that, another hit, and it is I do enjoy it. I think that's my favorite song so far.
For real,
'Cause
that's what's up.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, in terms of your performance, like whenever I listen to your performances, it's just so professional and quality
Oh,
to the
wow.
point
Thank you.
where I don't mind like putting it on. It's like
Oh,
it's
wow.
unique, it's distinct. It's like for me, it's like a combination of like past and future, a style of past and future, which is unique.
Yes, that's
Um,
what I'm trying to go for too. Yes, yeah, yeah, exactly. Thank you.
yeah, and like
Yes,
I feel like whoever collaborates with you, like your performance will enhance the song for sure.
I
So
try to. That's my goal. You know what I mean. I try to want to enhance their music. You know what I mean. With
mhm,
my style, I just want to get back. You know, so that's the goal.
yeah, and
Whoever I work with.
in terms of like doing the projects and the production for yourself, like don't be discouraged. I mean, at the end of the day, like be open to the possibility that you may not manifest or attract a team, and if that doesn't happen, what do you do? At least for me, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing, because if I don't do it, who else will?
Yeah, exactly.
And so like, and I mean, I enjoy creating the art, the graphics and stuff for myself, because it gives me pleasure, and I'm not, upset if no one doesn't want to help me, because I have a vision too. And I like the outcomes of my efforts. But I mean, if someone is willing to, you know, uh, work with me and not try to control my creativity. Like I'm open to that too. It'll be a compliment, similar to making money. It would be a compliment of my efforts that I initiated. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm not mad if no one wants to help me, because imagine if no one wanted to help me when I thought of like considered making this podcast. Where would I be today?
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's gonna get done regardless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just always just have faith in yourself, and anything could get done that you
Hmm.
want to get done.
How many songs have you made total?
That I released? Although I
That's
have.
just created, not
Oh,
released, just created.
it's well over 100.
Oh wow,
Yeah, it's up there for sure.
man.
Now finished,
Yeah,
or to the likings that I like to be able
yeah,
to release it.
yeah.
It's not. It's about, I got a good 40. But altogether, the creation that if I need to go back and like come up with some ideas or find a song that I want to release, oh yes, I'm really stacked
Yeah.
on that. I made sure to be stacked on that, if anything.
Yeah, that says a lot about just your ambitiousness. Like to have 100 songs, like created, like
Yeah,
Once again, that was a choice.
Yeah, I can't. That catalog is very important to me. If any, nothing matters to me really more in my career is my catalog of what I leave behind.
Hmm.
That's the meat and gravy. That's everything.
Hmm.
And that catalog has to be built sooner than later at this point. So you're gonna see me release a lot of music. Some I may not even announce. You know what I mean? Just to get the work done. But yeah, that catalog is it gotta be deep in that bag. You can't. There ain't nothing more you should be doing as a musician if building your own catalog
Hmm.
that everybody can listen to. You know what I mean? Getting it out there. Nothing else
Hmm.
matters really. So, in my opinion,
Hmm.
my opinion.
Yeah, it's like you're cultivating a legacy for yourself too.
Hmm.
Um, and it also, at least for me, when I make music, I think I do it because it also helps to enhance my identity, my
Yes.
identity of self,
Yes. Yes.
which I value. Like especially like from writing lyrics, and I gotta go from one lyric to the next, and it's like 3 verse song. Like each lyric is challenging in itself. So to like
Yeah.
reach that last lyric of a 3 verse song, I
Yeah.
feel like I'm a different person now. And
Man, three verse. Ooh. Ooh, that's a lot. Yeah, I'm not good at like writing fast. I could come up with different ideas playing the sax and soloing, but I give it to rappers and MCs, man. I give it to them to be able to freestyle
hmm.
for more than 20 bars,
Hmm.
even 10 bars, or even that's freaking amazing to me. Like, you know how many words you have to know and think of to imagine beforehand to say, oh man, that's a talent. I don't Rappers are musicians. I don't care what nobody says. They use words and
Hmm.
everything, and I feel like it's even more difficult if you're not really a literacy type of person. If I said that right.
Hmm.
Um. Yeah. Yeah. I give it a rapper. That's why I like to rap. I'm not a rapper. I don't rap. I'm like super hot fire. I'm not a rapper.
Hmm.
I just like doing it for fun. I like the artwork of it. I respect it. I will never call myself a rapper. I'll never be able to do that because that's not my forte. But will I continue on that path and get better at it? So maybe my son could inherit some skills and be maybe a dope rapper, or my grandson, maybe, because that's how it works.
Hmm.
But as far as like right now, I'm just here to like just have fun and just enjoy it. That's like a hobby to me. Music is rapping. That's
Hmm.
my hobby. I don't really take it seriously. I'm not no Kendrick. I'm not anybody in the Bay that raps. I'm just Kalen. I'm just a saxophone player that just like to spit some rhymes here and there. Don't come after me, Kendrick, please. I don't want the smoke, Brad. Good.
And did you also mention that you're a father?
I'm a what?
Are you a
Oh,
father?
I'm just saying in the no, 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 no. I
Oh,
don't have no kids yet. No, no,
oh,
no. I'm
okay.
just saying in the future. I be thinking future tense. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Just in case. You know what I mean?
okay.
No, 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 no. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
I get more financially secure for all that and everything. 'Cause I don't want to spoil my kids. You know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right out the box. I don't want to spoil my kids. So yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna transition on to the next topic, which
Okay.
is the multiple intelligence theory.
Okay. 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 Cool.
So for those who are unfamiliar with the multiple intelligence theory, I'll give you a brief description of it. When it comes to intellect, there are two popularized theories. One is more popular than the next. With the most popular theory, it suggests that we as individuals have 3 forms of intellect. This theory was presented by a theorist named, I think his name is Frederick Beignet, and he suggests that we have naturalistic or scientific mathematical, logical, and linguistic or writing intellects. And since this theory has been adopted by um, academic institutions such as high schools and colleges, we as individuals, when in high school, are tested on these three forms of intellect, such as on the SAT exam. And depending on how well you perform on the SAT exam, would determine if you are admitted to the next level of schooling, which is college. However, there's an alternative theory called the nine multiple intelligence theory, presented by a theorist named Howard Gardner, which suggests in addition to the three intellects that I mentioned, we as individuals have six additional. And those six are musical, existential, interpersonal. Interpersonal, such as paraphrasing, interpersonal is like people smart, bodily kinesthetic, body smart, intrapersonal, self smart, and spatial. Spatial intelligence is like the ability to range and interact with physical objects in the three-dimensional world. And the reason why I present this theory in the podcast is because it's possible that there's people out there who are unaware of these six additional intellects, who could have low self-esteem because their math, writing, or scientific intellects in on high aren't in high degrees as other people who may have developed these skill sets through practice and repetition, which is possible from my perspective for all intellects. If you have a willingness to develop a skill set through practice and repetition, in theory, it's possible to enhance these. And I'll use an example going back to basketball, where Kobe Bryant, he said in an interview that he would dedicate like 4 to 8 hours of just alone time in a gym working on his shot.
Yeah,
And so due to him having a willingness to practice, the result seemingly was his body intelligence, or bodily kinesthetic intelligence, enhanced in a degree. And so when it comes to development, it seems that we all start from zero, which is like rock bottom. And so if it's possible to start from zero and enhance ourselves from a skill set context, then it's possible to enhance these intellects for ourselves, which can help to boost self-esteem for people who are unaware of these intellects. And they may actually have high intellects or high degrees of intellects in like musical, like a Kanye West. He has demonstrated that he has a good sound for music, or creating music and producing music. So it seems like his degree of intellect in terms of the uh, musical intellect is pretty high based on his practice and repetition. So this is the nine multiple intelligence theory. And so, KJ, what I want to ask you is, of the nine multiple intelligence theory, of the nine intellects, which one or more do you sense you have high degrees in? And if you do have high degrees in, what would you suggest to listeners based on your experience that they can do to enhance their degrees of intellect of high degrees, which you have as well?
I'm looking at it on my screen on my computer, so I got it on my TV looking at it and everything. But
Uh-huh.
I know we talked about it before, but I still never really it. I just thought like this was like a normal thing.
Hmm.
I thought like everybody had all of it. I thought this was something that you're supposed to have already. I get
Mm-hmm.
musical smart and I get people smart too and word and math. I can't say like I don't want to say like I don't want people to be like, oh no, he's just being like yeah, cocky. Yeah. But honestly, like all these things are is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
These nine types of intelligence. I just focus on music because it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Um, but let's go to people smart. I always been so sort of people smart my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I always could read people very easily. It's just my problem was my response to it
Mm-hmm.
and being in an understanding point that everybody don't think like me.
Mm-hmm.
That was something I had to. That was one thing by being people smart is that everybody is not people smart,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody do not think like you. And this is and people smart is very it's a very dangerous thing if I'm thinking about it interpersonal
Mm-hmm.
because that's where if a lot of people don't have no moral control or have any morality ever any morality they will become a manipulator
Mm-hmm.
and it become a lot of seem like a lot of people like this become likes to be in power
Mm-hmm.
because it is power when you know how to when you know people you people smart you know how to gauge people you know how to shift people's mind for your own will that's very dangerous to have if you don't have no self if you don't have no conscience.
Mm-hmm.
And when I learn about people smart, I have to I really like put that in the back burner because it's good to think like that to protect your own, but it's never good to use it over people to manipulate.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people have a lot of emotion, too much emotion where they don't think logically, and and if somebody that's not morally good, that's their like bread and butter. They're like, ooh, I'm gonna get them. And you know, yeah, self smart. That's something I learned more as an adult of
Mm-hmm.
learning who you are because somebody like me, with my past, I had a lot of trauma, so it was kind of hard to see myself
Mm-hmm.
past the trauma. But once got older, I was able to become more self aware and know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, picture smart. That's be able to imagine and see things with your mind, right?
Yeah, so like someone who is a interior designer or architect, they're able to um, organize physical objects in a fitting way that will be functional for practical purposes.
That's I know a lot of people like that. At it's all about memory. It's
Mm-hmm.
all about remembering what you see, especially dreaming. If you
Mm-hmm.
can remember what you dream, it's very easy to imagine in the real consciously.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people that has very vivid dreams that can remember their dreams,
Mm-hmm.
like from the beginning to the end, are really good picture smart people.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that you could build as well with imagery exercises and everything. Sometime when I want to remember numbers, I write the numbers out in my head in a color, and I act like I see it in the air. That's how I
Mm-hmm.
can remember different numbers and license plates and all that other stuff, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and some people just have a knack for that. You know what I mean? They're just born with that visual um prowess, if I say that right. That's why there's some people that can never forget anything that they see.
Mm-hmm.
I seen something on that. I seen a documentary about this person that can't forget. She remembers everything,
Mm-hmm.
and she's not good with her family and her sister because she remember exactly how they treated her when she was young, and so that's so that's the only thing keeping her from being. She said, "I wish I could just forget and be loving, but I can't remember this one little thing she did to me at 7 years old that really, and it really bothers me." I'm like, "Dang, that's crazy." So there's different levels to it, but I get picture smart. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I, I see colors and I see notes when I play my instrument. That's how I remember what notes to play because I see the letters in my head
Mm-hmm.
visually. That's the only way I could play and remember. Now, word smart. So that's what being able to write and stuff. And
Write, read, express yourself, um,
Huh.
linguistically through writing.
Well, yeah, word smart. I would English was my best subject in high school. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
even music; it was actually English.
Mm.
I actually had a better grade in English than I did in music at one point, which is
Mm.
crazy. So I love like writing and just thinking of stories and stuff, and that's just nothing to me. A lot of people are like that, especially people that learn different languages. Like Kobe Bryant would most likely word smart. Okay, he can learn, he know all them languages like that. You got to be able to see the symbols, and be able to put it together and transform it. It's a lot with word smart. So yeah, numbers and reason logical. Hmm, reason and smart. So tell me more about that though. Like,
I would say, in terms of the logical, mathematical, being able to utilize, I'm trying to think of a way, to, being able to relate to um, the cause and effects of physical reactions, actions and reactions from a physical realm. So like, um, if there is a tree that has apples on it, like logically, the intent for the apples are um, for the tree to sustain itself. But what's the logic behind having one three apples compared to one apple, or just understanding the why um, the quantities are relative to reality. I guess that's the best way to describe it.
is it in a sense kind of more like having common sense in a way?
Mm,
In a way of like, well, maybe not. Um, hmm, hmm. I just like understanding how the world works, basically. If I'm getting it, if I'm right, because like they say, numbers don't lie. Once
mm-hmm,
you get it right, everything is numbers, everything is math. Our whole reality is based off of ones and zeros, like the Matrix and all that other stuff. So, if anything, out this whole list, I would say logical is probably my weakest point because I don't look at numbers like that. I'm so open to anything that could be anything
mm-hmm,
that I feel like nothing is really set in stone
mm-hmm,
as far as if it's mathematically right or not. I feel like everything changes all the time.
mm-hmm,
So that's probably not my best suit, but
mm-hmm.
it's something I should strengthen more in these nine types of intelligence is that part because it will help build better roles of foundations in my mind as far as connecting pathways with my what you call it neurological you know what I'm saying, like make sense more, and it will keep things more organized.
Yeah.
Math helps you stay organized. So um I say if anybody's trying to learn how to be more logical, I would say you will have to remember more formulas.
Mm-hmm,
If you know what I'm saying, like if you remember more formulas of how things are made and work and how things work, I feel like it's just the complicated formulas that you have to really master. And then the other things will come. I feel like you try to start off from the basic and then it probably get a little confusing. But if you could just understand a very complicated formula and how that formula is created,
mm-hmm.
and then go from the basic and keep doing it like that, I feel like then you will start to have a very high IQ and logical in the types of nine types of intelligence. So yeah, that's crazy. Now kinetics, body smart.
Mm-hmm.
I play basketball. I'm a genius with that. I'm sorry, not even to toot my own horn. Like, you know what I mean? My main theory of doing anything body smart, the main thing, nothing matters the most is my fault. I got a piano right here. Nothing matters the most is staying healthy,
Mm-hmm.
not getting injured. If you could keep your body, if you could do all these athletic things and keep yourself from not getting injured,
Mm-hmm.
that's the whole point of it all. Because once you get injured, all you count all that goodbye. That
Mm.
body smart. I feel like you get injured, like that body smart IQ go down because
Mm.
yeah. The most basic thing you supposed to do, you messed up on. So you know what I mean. It's keeping your body healthy. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
The more you keep your body healthy, the more body smart you have. You know what I mean? Because you'll be able to keep training for one to have more body smart. You won't have to have no time to recover. So yeah, that's anybody that's trying to get more body smart. Just take it slow. Do things slow first, then do it fast. Don't start off with the most biggest stuff when you working out or anything. Just start off small. Little gains is better than big gains. You know what I mean? So yeah, anybody can really have body smart. It's just that the laziness that stops people from having body smart and procrastination.
Mm-hmm.
That's yeah. And a naturalist. Tell me more about nature smart. That's a kind
Naturalist,
of a new one.
naturalist, another word to paraphrase. Naturalist would probably be nature smart. So like scientific. Like I have a friend who enjoys backpacking. Like he'll go to like not a campsite. He'll like drive deep into the forest with his backpack and a tent and will camp out there with no trails to lead him to anywhere. He'll just go drive to some random place and go there by himself, regardless if there's bears and cougars or whatever in the woods, because he's willing. He hasn't he's developed that skill set for him to be able to manage himself in that type of environment and circumstance due to him being in that environment and circumstance before. Sort of like a basketball game. Like he's played a game before, so he's not afraid to go play another game because he took the initiative to go play a game, so he can go into a totally different national park based on the experience and skill that he developed from a previous national park, and he can relate to what's happening in that natural environment due to him engaging with the environment, So,
Mm. So he basically it's almost like survival skills
yeah.
basically, and learning how to be in tune with nature and listen to nature and survive in nature,
Mhm.
regardless of where you at. You know what I mean? Hmm. Well, in a sense, I think anybody that's here already that made it as far as evolutionary standards
Mhm.
should be this way unless they've been really programmed as a kid or whatever the case may be, and they've been neglected from nature for so long that their body don't even remember how to even survive in nature.
Mhm.
But even then, once the person gets back in nature for quite a while, I think the body, the main mechanism in the brain will bring it back to like how to survive, what to really do. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And if you're in nature anyway, getting away from the city and all the poison that's in the cities and everything will always bring you back to being your smartest anyway. Living in the city, I'm not saying it makes you dumb, but it sure do make you slow.
Mhm.
Because all the fumes and all the stuff and all this and that, and now the 5G towers and stuff, and now we got all this stimulant stuff with like billboards and phones and TVs and all this other stuff distracting you. It's like it's hard for the brain to even be itself and to
Mhm.
know what the heck is going on when there's so many things going through it, literally. But once you get back in nature after a time to recover from all that, probably say like a week, maybe even sooner, because you probably get good sleep. Sleep is very important. So sleep recovers you almost 50 to 90% anyway. Once you get real good sleep from anything, really. As far as mentally, you know, um, I feel like anybody could be nature smart.
Mhm.
That it's just being in nature, it will make you smart. So
Mhm.
unless you like inside studying nature from whatever you're doing, books, YouTube or whatever, and you learning like that. But as far as like getting that natural nature smart and being in tune with the animals and the trees and the nature and all that other stuff, you have to be in nature. You
Mhm.
have to like be nature, you know what I mean? So that's why people that has done that so many times, like the guy you were just telling me, it's just a natural thing because he built that natural thing up inside him again, as
Mhm.
how it was before we became at this consciousness to be able to build what we do to make our life more easier and more convenient and shit and
Mm-hmm.
stuff and everything. But yeah, that's a good one to I didn't know it was a nature smart thing. That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get more into that. Logical and naturalist or naturalist. I wonder what that would do. And we in musical for people that want to be more musically inclined,
Mm-hmm.
it's basically to be anything in music, you have to sing it. That's basically all it is. Singing come first. You want on piano, guitar, sax, even drums, anything of the source. You have to be able to sing it with your voice. You have to be able to sing in tune. There's a lot of people that's like what we call tone deaf or whatever the case may be. That's just because they're not used to knowing what is this and what's in that. And I feel like anybody could be musical smart if you just sing it first. Just sing. The more you sing, the better you'll be at any instrument. That's a given.
Wow.
And yeah,
That,
that's a given. That's everybody should learn how to play an instrument. Everybody in this whole world should at least know how to play one instrument. If everybody learned how to play one instrument in this world, the world would be at peace.
mm,
Guaranteed.
that's insightful too. I didn't consider like singing it like verbally first in order to develop the skill set to convert it into a acoustic like through using instruments and stuff. But I
Mhm.
could relate to that, and I could see the logic.
Yeah. Because if you think about it, like singing is like your first instrument, and
Hmm.
it's like vibrations, and like it's vibrating your body, like
Hmm.
other than any instrument ever could. You know what I mean? So you becoming that note when you sing it. It's all
Mm.
about becoming one with all the 12 notes in the key. Even maybe even more if we ever discover the 13, 14, 15, whatever that's even real. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, it's all about becoming in tune with those 12 notes by
Hmm.
singing it. That's the only way. That's really
Mm.
the only way.
Mm.
The best way. So yeah.
Appreciate that, KJ.
Yes, sir.
Uh, so we're gonna proceed on to the final section of the podcast, which is my favorite. It's called the interpreting expression
Okay.
segment.
Okay.
So for those who are familiar with the interpreting expression segment, uh, individuals express ourselves in different forms, verbally, um, musically, um, even linguistically. And so this section is focusing on linguistic or verbal expressions that have been notarized and such as in the form of a statement or a question. And if I happen upon a statement or a question that I can relate to, I like to present it in the interpreting expression section. And the reason why it's called the interpreting expression section is because we as individuals have our own perspective on what we are experiencing outside of ourselves. And so for me to be a witness to a statement, I can seemingly only share my interpretation of it, and the person, someone outside of myself, are sharing their interpretation of what they're witnessing as well, possibly at the same time as myself. And the hope is when I share my interpretation, it could be relatable to the person that I'm expressing it to. And if it is relatable, hopefully my expression or my interpretation can inspire the person I'm expressing it to want to better themselves or grow themselves, and vice versa if someone was to share their perspective or interpretation with me. And so today's interpretation came from a quote. I can't remember exactly who said it, but it was during a podcast, and I found it to be intriguing based on just my day to day activities in life. And so he said, everyone needs a narrative to latch on to. And so this is the quote for today. And I want to add, uh, I'll what's the word? I'll pass it to KJ to see if he can share his interpretation share his interpretation of this quote. So the question, KJ, is how would you interpret this quote, and if it's relatable, how would this quote be relatable to yourself?
Everyone needs a narrative. Everyone needs a story. Everybody has a story, you know. But some people's stories are so big, it's just one narrative can't describe it all. But it got to be a narrative to keep them going to be able to express their story fully one day.
Mm-hmm.
And my narrative is to always stay focused. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? No matter what it is, you have to, it's just so much trauma that I've been through that everybody has probably been through in their own way. It's
Mm-hmm.
just it's nothing in my mind that is more apparent is the phrase stay focused. Just stay focused, bro. Just you have a goal, and once you accomplish this goal, you're gonna have many more goals that you can't ever imagine. And you won't be even thinking about the stuff that you're thinking about from the past that traumatized you, that brought you to a negative emotion, that you thought was gonna be your final whatever. You just gotta stay focused on what you want. And it's almost to the narrative of like the pursuit of happiness, you know. Like that, especially that movie is just like, you know, that if you watched it, like everybody watched it, but all the things that he went through, like the point when he lost his girl, bro, that would have broke me. That would have broke me. I'm like, dang, man. You know, but that man kept going with his son. He slept in the bathroom in Oakland. The bar bathroom, missing the bus trying to get to the homeless shelter. The $5 a guy took from him when it was his last five, and it was just so much, bro. Like a lot of them would have broke me, boy. A lot. You know, at that time, like I'm like, man, too much. But he kept going because he knew what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Pursuit of happiness. He stayed focused, and he got to where he wanted. You know what I mean? And even probably more than whatever could thought. And that's the narrative I think about. That's what's pushing me because I'm glad I struggled. You know, I'm glad I still struggle with things today. I'm happy about that. I don't want to be somebody that's like already got everything and bored. Oh my God, I do not want to be bored. That would be horrible. Oh my goodness, no. I want something to work towards. I need that. I need to be. I need to grow. I need that. If I already accomplished all my goals faster than I ever thought I could, I'm gonna make up new goals and struggle on that. I need to struggle. I need it. The struggle is what's gonna build my character more and more and more. It's actually gonna make sure I survive as much as I want to survive.
Mm.
If physically, not just physically, but spiritually, because people think it's the end after the physical. No. This is just the pre stuff. This is the intro.
Mm-hmm.
After this is when the real stuff begins. You know, this ain't nothing. People
Mm.
think life is so hard. I mean, yeah, of course. It's to get you ready. It's to get you ready because what's after this, it's gonna be that's the roller coaster, and it's not gonna not necessarily say it's gonna be bad. It's not gonna be bad,
Mm-hmm.
but it's gonna be an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you physically hear or your spirit, you're gonna have an experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So going back to just staying focused, bro. Just stay focused on what you want. You know what I mean? Don't
Mm-hmm.
worry about the struggle or how hard it is or today really broke me or I don't see no way out of it or no. Every day's a new day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day's a new day, and you just gotta just be 1% better every day because that's 365% a year.
Yeah.
So imagine the change you could be just 1% a day if you just stay focused.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion. That's my take on that.
Okay. I appreciate that. I can relate to the being 1% better each day. There was a previous guest. His name is Nell. He said he mentioned something similar to that. He said, I want to be 1% better each day. So that's interesting that you also, you know, mentioned that as well. So it seemed like
Hmm.
y'all have something to relate to in that regard. My interpretation of the statement, everyone needs a narrative to latch onto. When I think of the word latch, it seems like that could be a word that could be also used as depend on. And I don't think it's necessary to have a narrative in order to function in life.
Hmm.
And I'll use an analogy. The
Hmm.
other day I went to work and there's a hamburger place next to where I work, and
Hmm.
I was out in the parking lot, and when I'm
Hmm.
walking through the parking lot, I could smell the smell of a hamburger cooking. It smelled amazing, and in that moment, I could have constructed a narrative in my head and told myself somebody's cooking hamburgers or I smell hamburgers. But I think would it have been necessary for me to tell myself that when already in the present moment I'm experiencing that? I
Mm. Mm. Wow, that's deep. Mm. Mm.
so it's
That's
like,
deep.
if I'm experiencing that intuitively, I feel like it would have been redundant for me to have to tell myself
Self that.
what I'm already experiencing.
Embarrassing.
And so if based on logic, if it's possible for me to enjoy that smell of the burger um, in that situation, is it necessary for me to have to tell myself or create a narrative in order for me to be functional in the present moment, or could I just use my intellects and awareness and instincts or intuition to deal with situations as they come? To use like another analogy, I think about a boxing match. In a boxing match, if I'm not aware of my opponent, it's possible that I might get knocked out. And in basketball, if I try to create a narrative of how my opponent is going to move, I might get crossed over trying to anticipate what's going to
Scientist.
happen next
Mm-hmm.
versus just being focused on what's happening in the present moment. And I think it's possible for one to live a life without having to rely on or depend on a
A narrative.
narrative in order to be successful.
Just be the narrative,
Hmm.
basically. Okay.
So, like, some of my relatives got into somewhat of a conflict based on the presidential election recently,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the commentary was, well, since Trump is going to get elected, this and that is going to happen, and so it was a lot of that going on. But some of the people wasn't relating to those comments. They were like, yeah, it's possible that can happen, but like let's just wait and see. But then they be like, nah, let's not wait and see because X, Y, and Z might happen if we wait and see. So my response was, when it comes to focus, I can focus on what should have been in the past. I can focus on what could happen in the future, or I can focus on what's happening.
It's happening.
I ch-
Yes. Yeah, bro. I'm gonna remember that one. What's happening? Heck yeah, I'm with that. Heaven yeah, bro. Heck yeah, let's go. I love that.
So, I mean, if God or the universe is also a part of what's happening, my hope is that if something unexpected happened or something unexpected that could happen or that would be of detriment in the quote unquote future,
Mhm.
that I would experience some indication that would help me to like navigate avoiding such a situation in the present moment. And so if those indicators can happen, which I have experienced in the present moment, then why should I worry about what could happen in the future? Or why should I create a narrative about what may happen in the future? And like so like once again, I'm not trying to get crossed over. I'm not trying to get knocked out. I'm focusing on what what's happening now. And I think from a spiritual context, um, it seems like God of the universe is aware of me, similar to if I was in a boxing match, a boxer, my opponent is aware of me in the ring. So if God of the universe is aware of me, I feel like it's my responsibility to be aware of whatever is aware of me as well. And I feel like if I try to create a narrative or create a perception, that might distract me from what's actually happening in the present moment because now I'm in my head. You know what I mean? So I try to be aware of what's aware of me, be it a person, a pit bull coming down the street, um, a car,
Mhm.
whatever. I'm just trying to be as present as possible, and I think that's all we can really do in order to like really navigate this this thing we call existence. So
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy?
what?
Uh, think about what the word present is.
Mm-hmm.
Like I read this in a book. What was it called? Oh, it was called the I think it was called the present. Oh man. But it's crazy. It's some like sketchy PDF book that I found. I don't know if somebody sent me, right?
Yeah.
And it was I don't even know how I found it. I guess it was on Reddit or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was called the present.
Mm-hmm.
And I read it. Bruh, what? I think I still got it on my phone. I'll send it to you so you can take a look at it because it actually changed my perspective. But one thing it said what that made me, it's like, think about it. You living in the present moment, right? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah. But think about it. It's called the present because God is giving you a present. Because the
Mm.
present is the moment. And I'm
Mm.
like, oh, that makes so much sense. That's why they say focus on the present, focus on the moment. Because the future is not here and the past is already gone. But
Mm-hmm.
what's happening is the happening.
Mm.
Ah! Yeah, that's, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta be grateful for it. You know what I mean? Like I'm on a podcast with you. You know, we talking about my music and life and great things. Like that's a beautiful thing. That's something I should always like cherish. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people that wish they could do something like this, that wish they could get far in their music like this, and they can.
Mm.
But I have to be grateful for what I have now. Cause there's some people out there that could be like, man, I should be on the Breakfast Club right now. Why don't I be on this right now? Nah, but be grateful for where you at. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
be grateful somebody believes in you and have faith in you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's where it starts. That's how you get up there by being yourself through now and then.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, man. It's all about the present moment, man. I'm happy and I'm appreciative and I'm grateful and yeah, man. This is the highlight of my whole day. Highlight of my whole week, really.
Now, this is yeah, this is a highlight for me too, KJ. I appreciate you participating. And
Yeah.
I in this section I like to add a visual that I think is contextual to the quote or the statement, right? So
Mhm.
I don't know if you noticed. So in this visual, there is a individual. He looks like either a sorcerer or he can be like a warlock or something like that, right? And he has a
Uh-huh.
book, It looks like he's playing with some dark magic, right? So
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
the intentionality for me presenting this is because I think like you said, the potential danger of um, latching onto a narrative can result in imposing expectations on the present moment, which
Hmm.
it doesn't seem like the present, at least outside of humanity, imposes expectations on us. Though we can impose these expectations on the world. Like, I expect someone to give me $1 million tomorrow. And so with this with a sorcerer, the idea of a sorcerer, he casts spells, it seems like, based on an expected outcome. And usually that happens, like, a sorcerer is considered dark because he wants to uh, create a spell that is going to manipulate and cause the world to conform to his
To him, to his
expectations.
will,
Yeah,
basically, like
which
Thanos, damn near.
which ultimately seems to be a narrative, or
Hmm.
um, which is not relevant to what's currently happening, and that generally seems to stem from fear, the fear of the unknown, or the fear of um, yeah, pretty much unknown. I don't know what's going to happen next. I want to control what's going to happen next. So now I gotta impose these expectations on the world of what should happen
See,
next.
see, all that is. I laugh at stuff like that. And it's almost childish in a way to me. Like what
Hmm.
are you, like 12? Like 11, 10? Like what? You doing this stuff? Like, oh, I'm scared to what's gonna happen, so I'm gonna do the most darkest shit so I can have control of my reality. Like, you don't got no control. If you did do all that, like, you never had control. It's what God allowed you to have control of, and which He has allowed you to have authority over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, when I see like stuff like this, like, I knew some people like this too that was like, let's say, scared to die.
Hmm.
Like, God forbid I die anytime soon, and I thank God in my mind I have that faith that that's not gonna happen.
Hmm.
But I'm not scared to die. I
Yeah.
got nothing to be afraid of, the unknown. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm me, and I'm always gonna be me in this body, out the body, in another body. I'm always gonna be me and anybody I have been in before. You know what I'm saying? If you believe in reincarnation.
Hmm.
And like, once you have a clean spirit, and you the only one that can clean your spirit, you have to know that you're not perfect. And you know what I mean? And you have a clean conscience, your spirit be clean, you have no worries. But it's a lot of people that have worries because they scared of the unknown, because they scared of the judgment of their actions
Hmm.
from God, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, which is a trick by a known being that we all know, that I don't have to even say. It's a trick. That's his being, that's his will to make you think that you're unworthy,
Hmm.
and to think that you deserve to you deserve to suffer and have pain. That's not even like your worry. That's not even your conscience. That's not even your thought. That's whatever that is thought.
Hmm.
That's his punishment.
Hmm.
Our we don't have no punishment. God loves us for who we are. Cause He made us. He knows all our mistakes. He knows everything we're going to do before we even do it, and He'll still use us, and He'll still love us. It's not only until we choose not to choose Him that we fall, and that's why anything falls when you don't choose the Most High.
Hmm.
The Most High loves you. The Most High will always love you no matter what you do.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
if once you know that, you won't have to do no sorcery. You won't have to try to do your own magic. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that's so great. You just enjoy life for what it is, what God presented you. You don't have to get deep in all this other stuff that entity wants you to do, because that's what it needs to do to make sure it survives as long as it can survive, because it's on a time clock. Time is not even real. That's its time. It's the time that we on is its time of it. The time that we're on is another being's time, because it has a limited time to be existed, because of the decision that it made. it heading towards something that's only it brought to itself, and so it try to put us in that same bag because it don't want to be alone. So it shows us all these different things to get us away from the Most High,
Mm.
and you can't focus on that. You gotta ignore that because what's a clown worst nightmare? It's to be
What?
ignored, and that's
Ooh.
what it is.
Mm.
You gotta ignore that, and you gotta focus on what God has presented you in that moment, and you gotta love yourself and have faith in yourself, and forever and ever and ever, you will always be free and happy.
Mm.
That's
Damn.
the meaning of life,
You
right?
said
And
some.
that's the meaning to anything.
You said something pretty insightful for me, and it's kind of comical too. You said, What's a clown's worst nightmare? To be ignored." Wow, that I can relate to that.
You know what I'm saying? It needs it because it needs it, and we don't have to give it to it. Like you already messed up with the Most High. Like I didn't mess up. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not gonna listen to all the negative stuff you're trying to get me to do because you trying to make me think I'm unworthy of the mercy of the Most High when you're the only one unworthy. I didn't do nothing. He loved me. He created me. I'm good. I'm trying to experience everything He got for me.
Mm-hmm.
But you over here trying to make me do all these crazy things to make me get away from the Most High to be in the dark with you because you know where you're going and you don't want to be alone. But it's already written that you're going to be alone, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
need to be. I don't have nothing to do with you no more. I'm about to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be happy. I'm already happy. My life is already good. It only started being bad when you came around and you started telling me all these negative lies that had nothing to do with me, but only do with you.
Mm-hmm.
Leave me alone and let me be me and let me do what I need to do that God intended me for me to do. And we good. That's and it's so much deeper than that. I'm saying it in the most simplest form. If you really want to know it, if you really want to know what it really is, go read all the Bible. Go read all the religious thing. Religion is not really a good thing, but it's still some facts in there that you
Mm-hmm.
people need to read and know. It'll
Mm-hmm.
tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It'll tell you what's going on
Mm-hmm.
and how to keep you cool. You just got to do your research.
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, bro, you just got to remember you came into this world with God and you're going to leave with God
man.
at the
Yeah,
end of the day.
yeah. I agree with you. And it seems like, at least from my perspective, it seems like when people are wanting to be around a culture of enablers, they kind of fall into the temptation of wanting to be told that they're right even when they're wrong, morally. And so
Yeah. Yeah.
as long as you choose to stay in that type of environment, then you probably gonna need a narrative to like always have to hang on to, because you need to tell them something in order for them to tell you that you're right, even if you sense subconsciously, or even if they are aware that the reality is like, nah, that ain't right. So as long as you keep on constructing these narratives and going out to tell people in order for you to be validated about you being
Validated.
right,
Like
it's like, yeah.
you don't have to do all that. You know what I mean? As long as you know you're right, that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all that matters. 'Cause at the end of the day, it's just you. It's so many people in the world. Yes, 8 billion of us. But at the end of the day, it's just you.
Mhm.
Nobody's inside your body. It's just you and God.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So if you don't have faith in yourself, how do you expect anybody else to have faith in you?
Mm.
That's
Yeah,
that's
I agree. And I think like you said, it's just you. And I feel like I've dealt with some of this, but I think I've overcome it. But I think probably my greatest fear was the fear of being alone. But then once I realized, if I can be comfortable, not comfortable, but if I can be content with being alone, knowing that there's a possibility that I may be alone, then I should be good, because now I don't have to try to go find someone to be around in order to like enable this fear to continue to persist within me. So if I can be content with being alone, then I think I'm in the right. I'm in a good mind state.
Yes, and that's how, cause then you'll know yourself, and once you know yourself, you'll be able to help other people more.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Outside looking in. You know what I mean? If you don't know yourself, how do you expect to help other people? You know,
Mm.
when they come to you, you know, because some people need other people to get past that barrier.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Some people they may not be as strong as you to be alone, but if you're that person that can be alone and be good with it, then you have a job to help the next person be like that,
Mm.
and so they could spread it on, and it keeps going, it keeps going. That's what brings world peace.
Mm.
That's it's really that simple. But yet again, you know, the world is huge and it's 8 billion of us. So like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot that gotta go, you know, for world peace to actually really be a reality. But it is, and it's more sooner than we think it is. You know what I mean? It's a lot of stuff going on in the world with wars and stuff, and it may seem like we're headed towards doom. You know, they even got the doomsday clock closer than it ever has been. I think it's on seconds now instead of minutes. Like, oh my god, like what? But like it says in the Bible and all the other type of stuff, it has to get bad before it gets good.
Mhm.
Nobody said it's going to end and it's going to get good.
Mhm.
It just said it got to get bad before it gets good, and it has gotten bad. Oh boy, yeah, woo. Yeah, it gotten pretty ugly out here. You know what I mean? Over the centuries, even thousands, if you want to even count thousands of years, like it. whew, we did some crazy shit as as a human race, but we live in such a glorious time right now that we can't even see it because there's so much other bullshit like social media and stuff. We don't even see it. Like we living in the most peaceful time that ever has ever been, as far as we know. You know, we're not gonna even count like ethnicity history. We're gonna count the history as, you know what I'm saying, like the the history that we all taught now.
Mhm.
But we live in such a peaceful time now we don't even know it. And we can't even enjoy it because we're so worried about this and that and this and that. But it's
Mhm.
gonna change soon. And
Yeah.
when everybody's eyes open and when everybody just stop and just look and just like look what's in front of them, or let's even go outside and look and just breathe and just say, I'm pretty blessed right now. To a homeless man, to the richest person in the world, they could just go outside and be like, life ain't really that bad. Life
Mm.
is actually pretty cool.
Mm.
And it's gonna be a time when we all do it. 8 billion of us gonna know to do it. Or even
Mhm.
more at the time. Whoever knows. And that's when we're gonna have world peace. And that's when it's going to begin.
Mhm.
That's when it's going to begin.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say it one more time. That's it hasn't begun yet. We still in BS time. But when that day happens, when we all can just go outside for 5, 10 seconds, just be like, I have really nothing to complain about. I got everything I need. Life is good. And if I want more, I could have it because God gave me that opportunity and authority to.
Mm.
And there's nothing that can stop me.
Mm.
Homeless or rich, whatever you at. If we all could just do that, that's when it will begin.
Mm.
And that's something that we can't even imagine or fathom right now. What that beginning is.
Mhm.
And I know that for a fact. I know that for a fact. And it's coming soon. It's not gonna be in the next generation. No, it's gonna be in our lifetime.
Mm.
Me and you, our lifetime.
Mhm.
And it's gonna happen fast. It's not gonna happen like gradually. No, it's gonna be a consciousness shift that's
Mhm.
gonna happen. So I know it. I see it. I believe it. I have faith in it. No matter what's happening in Russia or the United States or whatever space, it doesn't matter because what God has planned for us is always gonna be what it is. No matter what lies something else try to tell us. God's plan for us is a great plan because He loves us, and
Mhm.
God has a sense of humor too. People don't know that. God has a sense of humor. So if you think about that, if God not really taking this seriously, he laughing, like why are we tripping
Mm,
about anything?
mm-hmm.
That should really tell you something. You know what I mean? Like you just gotta relax.
I can relate to it. Yeah. No, I appreciate your perspective, and it's definitely inspirational to me, and I hope that it's inspirational to the listeners as well. I know
Yeah.
we went beyond the usual time, but I
Did
mean,
we?
when it comes to growth has no time frame, and so I was appreciating your expressionism, and so I wasn't gonna cut it short
Oh, I
because
appreciate you, man.
yeah,
Oh man, I appreciate that. It's
yeah.
cool.
So well, what would your oh but before I ask that if you can hang around after the end of the broadcast we can just have
Yeah.
like a post commentary so I can just chop it up with you, that'd be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I got time.
the my next question is what would your parting words be?
My parting words. I already said a lot. I ain't gonna lie. I said a lot. I said what I wanted to say. You know, I don't really have these type of um interviews or podcasts or nothing. Like I don't really do this a lot, but so I got to say everything I wanted to say. But if I were to say anything else, I don't know if I'm just channeling or I'm speaking from the Holy Spirit or universe, God Most High. I don't know why I'm saying this, but I don't know who watching this, but you know, we could really hate ourselves for the things we have done in our lives. And we can even want bad things to happen to us. You know? It's 9:44 right now. We could really want bad things to happen to us. We could even want bad things to happen to other people to make ourselves feel more better in life because of the things they have done to us. You know what I mean? And it feels like it ain't gonna be no type of justice unless you probably even do it. But if you're somebody out there that's wanting to afflict some type of pain onto somebody else or to make a statement, any type of statement that requires that type of action, or if it's even just to make you feel a little better to keep you going one more day because it's either somebody else or you, just listen to this, please. Just listen to this, please. Evil, not even evil. Negativity is taught and it's experienced. But the thing about it is like we have the power to transmute that. We have the power to transform anything. Because we have a mind, we have consciousness, we have a heart. And with that power, you have a choice. You can either add on to something or you could transform it into something, you know? So if you experience negativity in your life, you can either add on to it or you can transform it. And I promise you, I guarantee you that if you just transform it into love, no matter how bad it is, no matter how bad it is, and nobody understands but you, if you could transform it into love somehow, I promise you, forever, not for like a few years, no, forever, you you'll be you'll be happy.
Mm,
If not now, but eventually.
mm-hmm,
Because if you go that other route, it's only gonna lead to more of what you don't want.
mm-hmm,
That's just a thing. It's because it's so easy to be bad, but it's hard to be good.
mm,
And it's the reason for that. Because the good is more rewarding.
mm-hmm,
Bad is just a artificial fast way of some type of a dopamine approval in your mind to make you feel good for even for a second. And it's not even worth it. It's not. It's not. So anybody that's watching this, I don't know who you are. I really don't. but you have the power to make a change. And God put you in this situation, wherever the situation may be, for you. It's a test to see what you're going to do.
Mm.
If you pick the right choice, and the choice that you know that's right, even though
Mm-hmm.
it's the most difficult choice that you ever can imagine,
Mm-hmm.
if you make that right choice, I promise you, not for years or decades or whatever, even millions of years, no, forever,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's only gonna keep getting better.
Mm-hmm.
It's an endless thing. Happiness is an endless thing.
Yeah.
And you have the control, you have the power to do it, to be it. So that's my parting words.
Thank you.
Stay focused.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna like in a way reverberate what you're saying. And so like my parting words is be aware of your intentions,
Yes.
because if you can be aware of your intentions, you can initiate positivity.
Yes.
And I think what I've learned from KJ today is his intentionality to focus on doing what is fun to him and gives him joy, as a result attracted reflections of what his intention was, such as being able to perform with a, a famous musician, which was unexpected. And it seems to me that he enjoyed that as well. So if you can be aware of your intentions and um, initiate based on what you're intending to do, then it seems like all will be well based on your journey of self growth. So,
Exactly. More and
uh,
more and more in that. Yes.
I thank everyone for tuning in tonight. I appreciate you all. Hopefully, you will tune in for the next upcoming episode of the Journey of Self Growth, which will be happening in 2 weeks. Um, yes. Thank you once again. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. Good night, y'all.
Good night, y'all. Stay focused.